Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides whom he wills, and you've accepted Islam around 5 years ago. Can we rewind back to the day of your declaration of faith? So could you please discuss about taking your shahada and what that experience was like for you?
I kind of knew for a while that I was going to be Muslim. Like there was just like a feeling I had because I was going through like this 2-year questioning phase of like Christianity and Catholicism. I was like going to different priests and scholars and theologians, just like asking questions that were very deep, not just from Catholicism, but from Protestantism and non-denomination. They were all very kind, very patient, and they were definitely giving me the answers that they believed to be correct, but I still didn't agree with them. They would still be like, oh, this is a holy mystery, like the Trinity, for example. The answers they were giving me, they just weren't satisfying. And I remember telling myself, I cannot dedicate my life to something that I do not understand or I don't agree with. So the weekend before I converted, we were at a friend's wedding. There was a priest who was a family friend of ours, and this priest knew that I was going through like a faith questioning thing, and he was basically asking me what's going on. I just ranted to him and I was like, this doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense, and just kept going and going. He was like, the most important thing is that you have a relationship with God, and if you find a better relationship with God and find yourself as a better servant to God in a different path that isn't under Christianity, but you are becoming a better person and you're becoming closer to God, and it makes more sense to you, even if I don't agree with that path, I agree with that choice because it's bringing you closer to God, rather than staying within Catholicism for the rest of your life and having no connection to God. And that basically was like the blessing that was like, okay, I'm going to the mosque when I get back to Texas. Thank you so much. We've talked since then. He was like, yeah, if I knew that was the catalyst, I probably would have worded it a little bit differently. So we were walking around the mosque between Maghrib and Isha. We sat in a circle and I just was like rapid fire asking questions. I'm like, what about this? What about that? Explain this to me in Islam, Jesus' role. And they were answering everything with so much patience and scholarship. And every time they answered, they had, because in the Quran it says this, or because in the Hadith it says this, right? I had already done a lot of the research. When I felt satisfied, I was like, all right, I'm ready, I'll convert. And they're like, no, take your time, go home and process it. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go home and like say the shahada, I'll just do it now. So then we just did it after Isha. Once you say the whole shahada and everyone says takbir, Allahu Akbar, takbir, Allahu Akbar, they start asking me like, oh, what pulled you to Islam? And I said, oh, I just studied the Quran and Islam a lot and I knew it was the truth.
Alhamdulillah, that's amazing. A lot of the time what I hear from reverts, what they get told is have blind faith and just believe, especially when it comes to Christianity. Whereas in Islam, alhamdulillah, we have answers for everything. Like you said, there's nothing that we don't have an answer for. And when I hear about people reverting to Islam, it's nearly always due to their former lifestyle or belief system, either not fulfilling them spiritually or even sometimes causing chaos in their lives. And like you said, your belief system wasn't fulfilling you spiritually, it wasn't giving you that connection with God.